One town in Nebraska will put $60,000 towards your house. Not a coupon, not a maybe. $60,000 sitting there, and hardly anyone outside that county has ever heard its name. You would think free money like that would have a line stretching around the block. It doesn't. And that is the strange part of this whole story. All across America right now, there are towns, cities, even whole states that will pay you to move in. Cold, hard cash, free land, a house they help you buy. These are real programs running in 2026 with real dollar amounts attached. I went and verified every single one of them for this list. By early 2026, more than 65 communities were actively dangling incentives, some as small as a few $1,000s, some north of 50. The reason is almost always the same. These are places watching their young people leave, their schools shrink, and their main streets go quiet. And they decided the cheapest way to fight back is to pay you to notice them. But here is the promise, and I am going to keep it the whole way through. Real program, real number, and one honest catch each, because free money stories are exactly where the scams like to hide. And you deserve to know the string that's attached before you pack a single box. So, here are the rules. To make this list, a place had to pass 3 tests. First, it has to be a program that is actually open, not a rumor, and not one that quietly died last year. Second, it has to offer a real benefit with a real number, whether that's cash, free land, or a covered home. And third, it has to be a real place you can actually live, with a true story of what it's like once you get there. Quick word before we start. This is not financial or relocation advice, and these terms change fast, so always confirm directly with the program before you move. All right, let's count them down. Number 15, Paducah, Kentucky. Paducah sits right on the Ohio River in the far west corner of Kentucky. It's an old riverboat town with a walkable brick downtown, a genuine arts district, and a quilt museum people drive across the country to see. And it wants remote workers badly enough to build a package worth up to $6,500 to get them there. Here's how it breaks down. Up to $2,500 towards your actual moving costs, a renter's deposit, or a down payment. $70 a month for a year to cover your internet, a 1-year waiver on the city's 2% payroll tax, and a bundle of local memberships and tickets designed to push you out the door and into the community. The catch is that most of it is reimbursement, not a check that lands the day you arrive. You front the money, then you get it back after you've settled in and proven it. And you need a full-time remote job to qualify in the first place. So if you're retired or living on a fixed income, this one probably isn't built for you. If you work from a laptop, it's a soft landing in a genuinely charming river town. And $6,000 is nothing to sneeze at. Homes here go for a fraction of what you'd pay on either coast. And a lot of transplants say the art scene punches far above the weight of a town this size. That's a modest start. This next one is even stranger, because the town won't hand you a dime until you've already lived there a full year. Number 14, Quincy, Illinois. Quincy is a town of about 40,000 people, sitting right on the Mississippi River, up against the Missouri border. Gorgeous old architecture, some of the cheapest houses you'll find anywhere in the Midwest, and a program with a name I honestly love. They call it Quincy's Calling. The offer is a property tax rebate of up to $5,000. Move in, land a job with an employer in the county, and after your first full year of living and working there, they rebate you the money. You already caught the catch, didn't you? You have to find local work first, and you don't see a single penny until a year has gone by. So this rewards people who are genuinely serious about staying, not folks passing through for a payday. That's an honest trade. Just go in knowing the money is a finish line reward, not a welcome gift on your doorstep. And understand why Quincy is doing this at all. Like a lot of river towns, it has slowly bled workers to bigger metros for years. And the tax rebate is really a bet that if it can just get you in the door, the cheap houses and the slower pace will make you want to stay. Number 13. Mattoon, Illinois. Mattoon is central Illinois farm country, a quiet town sitting just off Interstate 57, surrounded by soybean fields and grain elevators. Their program is called Move to Mattoon, and it's a cleaner deal than a lot of what's out there. $5,000 in straight cash, plus another $3,000 in local goods and services, plus a full year of free co-working space. Now for the fine print, and there's a fair amount of it. You have to currently live at least 100 miles away. You need a remote job paying at least $45,000 a year, and you have to commit to staying for 2 years. Leave early, and you can be asked to hand the money back. So it's real, it's cash, and it's gettable. It just wants a genuine commitment in return. You'd think a struggling little town would take absolutely anyone with a pulse. They're actually a bit picky about who they let in. And that pickiness is a good sign the program is run seriously instead of just tossing money at the wind. Mattoon won't wow you with mountains or coastline. What it offers is a low cost of living, a short commute to nothing in particular, and the kind of quiet that either heals you or drives you up the wall. Know which type you are before you sign a 2-year commitment. This next one flips the whole idea on its head. Instead of paying you to show up, this place pays off the thing you already owe. Number 12. Hamilton, Ohio. Hamilton is a river city about 20 miles north of Cincinnati, a place in the middle of a real downtown comeback. With a riverside amphitheater, free summer concerts, and colorfully painted fire hydrants scattered around the old districts. And it runs one of the most creative programs in the entire country. They call it a reverse scholarship. Instead of giving you money to go to school, they pay down the debt you already carry. The Talent Attraction Program will cover up to $10,000 of your student loans, paid out at $300 a month. For somebody young and drowning in loan payments, that is a life raft. And this is where I have to be straight with you, especially if you're watching this on a fixed income in your 60s. This one is not for you. To qualify, you need to have graduated within the last 7 years, ideally in a science, technology, engineering, arts, or math field. You need more than $10,000 in student debt still on the books. You have to move into specific downtown neighborhoods. And if you leave or lose your local job before it's all paid out, you forfeit whatever's left. It's a wonderful deal for a broke 26-year-old with a diploma and a mountain of debt. It's the wrong deal for a retiree, and knowing the difference between the two is the whole reason this video exists. Number 11. Kansas Rural Opportunity Zones. This one isn't a single town. It's a whole tier of Kansas counties, dozens of them, that the state has officially designated as rural opportunity zones. Move to one of them, and Kansas will hand you 2 very different things. First, up to $15,000 in student loan repayment. Second, and this is the one people constantly sleep on, a full waiver on your Kansas state income tax for 5 straight years. If you're earning a solid income, 5 years of paying no state income tax can quietly add up to more than the $15,000 ever would. The catch has 2 parts. The loan money only helps if you actually have student loans, so once again it skews toward younger folks. And the county has to be a participating zone. So you can't just drop a pin on any Kansas dot you like. But that 5-year tax waiver, that one works for just about anybody with taxable income, retiree or not. Read the county list carefully, because the map is the whole game here. Number 10. Osborne, Kansas. Now we're into the freeland towns. And yes, that phrase is completely real. Osborne is a town of about 1,300 people out in north central Kansas. Wheat country, big sky, the kind of quiet that city people either crave or can't survive. And Osborne will give you a residential lot for free. Not rented to you, give it to you. The land becomes yours. Here's what free actually asks of you. You put down a $500 deposit, which you get back once you follow through on the deal. And you have to build a home of at least 1,400 square feet, finished within 12 months, so the dirt is free. The house is not. You're on the hook for construction. And out in a place this rural, that can get tricky because contractors are scarce and building materials cost whatever they cost no matter where you are. But if you've always dreamed of building your own place and the price of land was the one wall standing in your way, Osborne just knocked down the biggest line item on the whole project. That is not nothing. Life out here is a grocery store, a gas station, a school, and a whole lot of horizon. The nearest big box shopping and the nearest large hospital are a drive away. And you should weigh that honestly, especially if healthcare is a regular part of your week. If that sounds appealing, keep watching. Because this next Freeland town comes with a detail that made me stop and reread it. Number 9. Marquette, Kansas. Marquette is a tiny town founded by Swedish settlers back in 1874, tucked into McPherson County. It's been giving away free building lots for years, most recently in a development called the Westridge Addition. The lots run from 11,000 all the way up to 25,000 square feet. That's a serious yard. And the community, by nearly every account, is warm and tight-knit. The kind of place with an annual rodeo, a motorcycle museum, a community pool, and neighbors who show up when you're moving furniture. You have to build within a year. Standard stuff for these programs. But here's the detail I promised you. The town's elementary school has closed. And when a small town loses its school, that tells you something honest about which direction it's been drifting. It doesn't mean don't go. Plenty of retirees and remote workers don't need an elementary school at all. It just means you should walk in with clear eyes about what's there and what isn't. That's not a knock on Marquette. It's the truth. And the truth is the whole deal I promised you. Number 8. Lincoln, Kansas. Lincoln is a pretty little town in central Kansas, about an hour north of Wichita, with just over 1,000 residents. It's been offering free land longer than almost anybody on this list. There's a tiny deposit, roughly 8 cents a square foot, fully refundable once you comply. And on top of the free lot itself, the town offers a property tax rebate on your new construction. Free land plus a break on your property taxes. That sounds awfully close to perfect. So why has Lincoln kept shrinking anyway? Losing around 10% of its people, even with a program this generous running for decades. A couple of honest reasons. Some of the available land sits on a floodplain, which matters a great deal when you're deciding where to pour a foundation you plan to sleep under. The build rules are strict. You need at least a 1,300 square foot home. You have to connect to the city's electric, water, and sewer. So there's no going off-grid out here. And here's the hardest reality of all. New construction out in these parts sometimes costs more to build than the finished house will actually appraise for when it's done. That last part is the quiet catch hiding behind almost every freeland town in America. The lot is free precisely because the math of building on it is hard. Go in knowing that. Run your numbers twice, and Lincoln can still be a genuine gift. This next one is for the folks who don't want to build anything from scratch. They just want to check at closing. Number 7. Newton, Iowa. Newton sits about 30 minutes east of Des Moines, and it carries a story that'll sound painfully familiar to a lot of you. This was Maytag's town. For generations, the washing machines and dryers that Americans hauled into their basements were built right here. Then Whirlpool bought Maytag back in 2006, shuttered the headquarters, and roughly 3,000 jobs walked out the door. The people followed. So Newton decided to fight its way back, and it chose to do it through housing. The Newton Housing Initiative will hand you $10,000 in cash, plus a $2,500 Get to Know Newton welcome package. Best part, The cash comes to you right at closing, so you can put it straight toward your down payment. The catch is specific and worth writing down. It has to be a newly built, owner-occupied single-family home valued at $240,000 or more, not counting the land underneath it. It needs a radon system installed for safety. And the program runs through 2026, subject to the city still having money in the pot. This is one of the better fits on the entire list for a downsizer or a retiree sitting on some home equity, because it rewards buying a place to actually live in, not holding down a remote job. Just confirm the money is still funded before you commit to anything. Real quick, because we're right at the halfway point. If this is helping you, a like genuinely does more for a small channel than you'd ever guess. I go read the fine print so you don't have to. Now let's get back to it, because the numbers only get bigger from here. Number 6, Ascend, West Virginia. West Virginia looked at the remote work boom and made one of the boldest plays in the entire country. The program is called Ascend, and it will pay you $12,000 to move to towns like Morgantown, Lewisburg, Shepherdstown, Elkins, or the Greenbrier Valley. All of them tucked into some of the most breathtaking mountain country America has to offer. Rivers, ridgelines, and more hiking and paddling trails than you could exhaust in a lifetime. The $12,000 comes in monthly installments spread over 2 years. Buy a home partway through, and you can take whatever's left as a single lump sum. On top of the cash, you get free outdoor gear rentals, free co-working space, a welcome tour of the state, and a whole calendar of events built to help you actually put down roots instead of just cashing a check and hiding indoors. Now, the catches, because there are a few. You have to be a remote worker or run your own business from outside the state. You have to stay 2 full years to collect all $12,000. And the money is taxable, so a slice of it heads right back to the government. It's also selective, with tens of thousands of people having applied over the years. This mountain isn't begging just anyone to climb it, but for a remote worker who dreams in fog and forest, few programs anywhere are this rich. And here's a number that surprised me. The people who do make the move overwhelmingly stay well past the 2 years the money requires, which tells you the mountains close the deal even after the checks stop. This next one used to be some of the simplest free money in America. Then it quietly changed the rules and almost nobody noticed. Number 5, choose Topeka, Kansas. For years, the headline on Topeka was one of the loudest in the whole country. Up to $15,000 just to move to the Kansas state capital, a city with a revitalized downtown, 4 universities within an hour, and even an Evel Knievel museum, if that's your thing. The offer made national news. People flooded the inbox by the thousands, and here's the twist that trips people up in 2026. Choose Topeka is no longer an open pot of cash you can claim on your own. It has been quietly restructured into an employer match program. To get the money now, you generally need to be hired by an employer based in Shawnee County, who agrees to participate, and then the city and that employer split the incentive between them. So, the $15,000 is still very real. But the door to it now runs through a local job offer, not through you simply rolling into town with a moving truck and a laptop. For remote workers holding an out-of-state job, that wide-open cash offer has mostly closed. And this is exactly why you check the current terms yourself instead of trusting a headline from a few years back. The number survived. The path to it did not. You'd think somebody would put that in big red letters. Nobody did. Number 4, Tulsa Remote, Oklahoma. Tulsa Remote is the granddaddy of them all. The program that kicked off this entire movement back in 2018. $10,000 to move to Tulsa, plus a monthly wellness stipend, plus a free co-working membership that runs for years. More than 4,000 people have now done it. The economic impact runs into the hundreds of millions of dollars. It flat out works. So what's the catch on the one that started it all? The catch is that this isn't a handout, it's a competition. Tulsa Remote accepts only around 3% of the people who apply. You submit an application, you sit for an interview, you go through a background and income check. So this is the one place where the whole almost nobody's taking the money idea flips clean on its head. Plenty of people want this money. Most of them get told no. You also have to be a remote worker employed by a company outside Oklahoma, and you commit to living inside the city of Tulsa for a full year. If you fit the profile and you nail the application, it's a proven, well-run, genuinely life-changing deal. Just don't treat it like the freelance towns, where showing up and building is basically the entire application. Here, you are being chosen, and the odds are long. We're down to the biggest numbers now. This next, one doesn't hand you cash at all. It hands you tens of thousands towards the actual house. Number 3. Belleville, Kansas. Belleville is a small town in Republic County, up near the Nebraska line, and it is swinging for the fences. It's offering up to $35,000 in grants to anyone willing to build a home there. Here's how it stacks up. There's a $25,000 base grant just for building a single-family home. Then an extra $10,000 bonus on top if yours is among the first 5 homes built inside the city limits. That's the kind of number that makes accountants sit straight up in their chairs. The catches are real, and they move fast. You apply through the county's economic development office, or you partner with a local bank before you ever break ground. And once you're approved, construction has to begin within 30 days. 30 days. That's a brutally tight window that rewards people who already have their plans drawn and their financing lined up, and quietly punishes anybody hoping to figure it all out as they go. But come prepared, and Belleville will help pay for a brand new house. That's about as close to the old homesteading dream as modern America still gets. And there's a reason a town out here is willing to write checks that big. Rural Kansas has been losing people for a century, and a single new family building a home and enrolling a couple of kids in the local school can genuinely change the math for a place this size. Number 2. Pawnee City, Nebraska. Remember that $60,000 I opened with? Here it finally is. Pawnee City is a town of under 1,000 people, sitting about 90 minutes south of Lincoln, Nebraska. Its population has been sliding for 50 straight years, down from a peak of around 1,300. It's small enough that its most famous export is the comedian Larry the Cable Guy. So instead of waiting to disappear, the town got proactive. Through a plan they call Vision 2030, Pawnee City started building brand new single-family homes from scratch, and then attached one of the largest incentives anywhere in the country, up to $60,000 in down payment assistance on one of those new homes. Now here's the honest anatomy of that number, because it is not $60,000 in cash. It comes as a zero-interest, no-payment second mortgage that just sits quietly on the home for as long as you own it and live there as your primary residence. The homes themselves run around $320,000, so the assistance knocks that down to somewhere near $260,000. There are income caps, roughly 120% of the area's median income, and you still have to qualify for a normal first mortgage on the balance. And here's the part that should reassure every skeptic watching. Families, single professionals, and retirees are all welcome to apply. When they announced it, they got over 100 applications in the first 2 weeks. So this one isn't sitting unclaimed because it's a scam. It's sitting unclaimed because almost nobody outside of southeast Nebraska has ever heard of a town this small doing something this enormous. Until right now. Until you. And for what it's worth, for a town under 1,000 people, Pawnee City is punching hard. It's got its own school, its own hospital, with round-the-clock emergency care, a couple of parks, a pool, and a brand new amphitheater. That's more than a lot of places 3 times its size can say. Which brings us all the way down to the last one. And this town isn't really paying you cash at all. Number 1. Marne, Iowa. Marne is about an hour outside Omaha, and roughly 120 people live there. 120. It has been giving away free land for years to anybody willing to build a home and truly become part of the place. There's no giant check here, no $60,000 headline. And that, right there, is exactly why it's number 1 on this list. Because once you read enough of these programs back to back, you start to notice what these towns are really asking for. It isn't just warm bodies to patch a spreadsheet. It's people who'll coach the Little League team, sit on the town council, keep the diner open past 6, and turn the lights on at the church on Sunday. The dollar figures are the bait. Belonging is the actual offer underneath. For a whole lot of you watching this, priced out of the coast, tired of being a stranger in the place you already live, that belonging is worth more than any grant on this entire list. A small town willing to hand you a piece of solid ground and, if you let it, a whole second chapter of your life. Somewhere, your name gets learned in a week instead of never. Somewhere you matter, plainly and simply, because there just aren't enough people around for you not to. These towns are paying because they are fighting to survive. And that is not desperation for you to exploit. It's an invitation you're allowed to accept. A real trade, both sides walking away better for it. Marne won't cover your medical bills or hand you a stipend. What it offers is a lot with shade trees and green grass, and 120 neighbors who will know if you're sick and show up with a casserole. For some of you, that's a worse deal than $60,000. For others, watching this quietly at your kitchen table, it might be the only thing on this entire list that actually sounds like home. So there they are, 15 real programs, real dollars, real catches. Every one of them confirmed, running as of early 2026. Some fit a remote worker, some fit a builder, some fit a retiree ready to plant roots. One last time, but the homework is the same for all of them. Confirm the terms yourself, read every single line, and go visit before you ever leave. If this saved you from a too good to be true headline or pointed you toward a town you'd never once heard of, do me a favor and subscribe, because I go dig these deals up so you don't have to. And send this to that one person in your life who's always talking about starting over somewhere new. Because one of these towns is quietly out there right now, waiting for exactly them.